أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. According to a narration from Sayyidina Ibn Umar in Musnad al-Bazzar and Mustadrak Hakim, and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, at the time of his death, Nuh alayhi salam, La ilaha illallah, Muhammad, because should the heavens and the earth be placed in one pan of the scale and the kalima La ilaha illallah Muhammad in the other, the pan containing the kalima shall invariably remain heavier. Other narrations on the same subject have been reported from Sayyidina Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, Sayyidina Ibn Abbas, and Sayyidina Abu ad-Darda, supported by reliable transmitting authorities, and are spreading over in various hadith collections. According to these narrations, the believing Muslim who recites the kalima shall always find the scale heavier in his favor, no matter how many sins he carries on him. But many other verses of the Quran and narrations of a hadith prove that the good and bad deeds of a Muslim shall be weighed. For some, the scale pan with good deeds will be heavier, for some others that of sins. The one whose scale pan with good deeds is heavier will have his salvation, while the one whose scale pan with sins and evils is heavier will have his punishment. For example, in Surah Al-Anbiya it said, and we shall set up the scales of justice on the day of judgment. There not the least injustice will be done to anyone. And if there be good or bad, the weight of a mustard seed, we shall bring it to account on the scale for deeds, and we are sufficient to take account. And in Surah Al-Qariyah it said, whoever has a scale of good deeds heavy will be in life blissful, and whoever has a scale of good deeds lighter, his place will be hell, also known as Jahannam. Explaining these verses, Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas said, the believer whose good deeds on the scale are heavier will go to Jannah with his deeds, and the one whose evil deeds on the scale are heavier will be sent to Jahannam with his deeds. This narration from Sayyidina Abu Hurairah, it has been reported in Abu Dawood. If a shortage is found in the fara'id of a servant, Allah Ta'ala will ask if that servant has some nawafil to his credit. If they are there, the shortage of the obligatory will be compensated by the voluntary mazhari. The outcome of all these verses and hadith narrations is that the scale will sometimes be heavier in favor of a believer and lighter at some others. Therefore, scholars of Tafsir say that this shows that weighing in mahshar resurrection will be twice. First to be weighed will be belief and disbelief, through which distinction will be made between a believer and a disbeliever. In this weighing, whoever has even just the declaration of faith, kalima, in the book of deeds, his or her scale will become heavier, and he or she will be separated from the group of disbelievers. Then there will be a second weighing of good and bad deeds. In this, the good deeds of one believer will be heavy on the scale, while the other will find the scale heavy with evil deeds, and everyone will have his or her punishment or reward in accordance with that. Thus, the subject as dealt with in all these verses and narrations of hadith becomes synchronized. How would these be weighed? According to a hadith narrated by Sayyidina Abu Hurairah, which appears in al-Bukhari and Muslim, the Holy Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, on the day of Qiyamah there will come some heavy people whose weight in the sight of Allah will not be worth the weight of even a mosquito, and in support he recited the verse of the Quran, that is, on the day of Qiyamah we will not give them any weight. and featuring the virtues manaqib of Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Masud. There is a hadith in which Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam is reported to have said, his legs look so thin, but by him whose hands lies my life, on the balance of justice for the day of Qiyamah, their weight shall be more than the weight of the mountain of Uhud. And then there's the hadith of Sayyidina Abu Hurairah, with which Imam al-Bukhari has concluded his book, the Sahih. In it is said that there are two words very light when said, but very heavy when weighed on the scale of deeds. And with Allah they are dear. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. Pure is Allah and praised is He. Subhanallah al-Azim. Pure is Allah the Great. Then there is the hadith of Sayyidina Abu Hurairah, with which Imam al-Bukhari has concluded his book, the Sahih. In it is said that there are two words very light but very heavy when laid on the scale of deeds, and with Allah they are dear, and they are Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, pure is Allah and praised is He, and Subhanallah al-Azim, pure is Allah the Great. As narrated by Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Umar, the Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam used to say that saying Subhanallah fills half of the pan on the scale of deeds, while saying Alhamdulillah fills the other half. Abu Dawood, Tirmidhi, and Ibn Hibban report with sound authority from Sayyidina Abu Darda that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, no deeds will be heavier than good morals on the scale of deeds. And to Sayyidina Abu Dhar al-Ghifari, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, I tell you about two things doing which is not hard for anyone, but on the scale of deeds they shall be the heaviest: one, good morals, and two, usually observing silence, that is, not talking unless necessary. In his Kitab al-Zuhud, Imam Ahmad has reported from Sayyidina Hazim that angel Jibreel al-Amin alayhi salam came to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam while someone was there weeping in the fear of Allah. Angel Jibreel alayhi salam said, all human deeds will be weighed by human tears flowing from the fear of Allah, and akhirah is a deed which would not be weighed. Rather, one such tear would put off the wildest fire of Jahannam. A hadith says about a person present on the plain of resurrection, when he will look at his book of deeds, he will notice very few good deeds there. He will be nervous. All of a sudden, something will rise like a cloud and fall right into the scale pan of his good deeds. He will be told that this was in return for his teaching of the faith, which multiplied onwards when people acted in accordance with it, and there was a share kept aside for him with each single follower of his teaching. Tabarani reports from Sayyidina Ibn Abbas that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, a person who goes to the graveyard with the janazah, 2 carats will be placed on his scale of deeds. Other narrations say that the weight of this carat will be equal to the mountain of Uhud. He has also reported from Sayyidina Jabir that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, one's first deed to be placed on the scale of deeds will be the good deed of spending on one's family and taking care of their needs.